We've got some late breaking news as we come on the air at 6 tonight. The McCollum High School principal reporting a loaded gun found in possession of one of their students on campus. Parents alerted to the incident through a letter. According to the principal, around 2:15 this afternoon, another high school student saw the gun and told school staff about it. SAPD was called and that student was taken into custody. The principal goes on to encourage parents to tell their kids about the seriousness of these kinds of incidents, along with the felony charges they could face. The San Antonio Police Department is handling this particular investigation now. As part of her first trip to San Antonio since 2019, First Lady Jill Biden stopped by Lackland Air Force Base to speak with military families who have children with disabilities. Our Lee Waldman is just outside of the base. And Lee, the First Lady saw classroom time at the Gateway Child Development Center firsthand today.
She did, and as a teacher herself, Dr. Jill Biden was very engaged with those children. That was ahead of participating in that roundtable discussion to talk about how to better support our EFMP families. Show and tell ahead of a very real conversation about challenges exceptional family member program families face.
My son was born with a malformation on the brain. He have polymicrogyria. He has cerebral palsy. Sergeant First Class Andre Rodriguez Bolandi is a single father. His son's medical needs sometimes are put on hold because of his military travel. It's one of the issues brought up for discussion. It will be great in the future to see more opportunities and flexibility for military families to be able to stay at the same location for a longer period of time. As needed. Other issues were about making school transitions easier for kids with individualized education programs and access to family services when changing bases. Members of this panel bringing firsthand experience, like Coral Ramirez Camacho, who not only is an EFMP family, but now works for the program.
It's been an exciting journey. To be able to give back and serve the military community the way that I was helped throughout my journey with my son.
The First Lady listening intently, asking questions and taking notes on what needs to be changed and how to better support families with children who have disabilities.
We're going to continue to work on these things, and that's why we're here. Because we have to know, where the holes are in the fabric to be able to, sew it all together.
The First Lady ended discussions today by saying the issues brought up are fixable, and they'll be bringing them back to Washington, D.C. to start working on those fixes. She continually called the parents participating today strong moms and super dads, and she thanked them for all of their support before having a private moment with those families ahead of her departure. Live outside of JBSA Lackland, Lee Waldman, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Lee. Election Day right around the corner. You can scan this QR code to see our latest episode of The Breakdown with Steph and Steve, where we're going to have a live preview of the March primary tonight. You're going to hear from local experts to get an in-depth look at some of the biggest races on the ballot. We'll also talk with Trinity University professors about Republicans and the Latino vote and the youth vote. The live stream begins tonight at 7 p.m. right after this newscast. You can watch it on KSAT.com or any of our KSAT streaming platforms. And here is another QR code you can scan. This one will take you right to our election page at KSAT.com. That's where you can find all the information you need ahead of the March primary, from races to polling places. You can vote early through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and then Election Day is March 1st. All right, let's go over to Adam Caskey right now, and it is a light drizzle downtown right now, Adam.
Yeah, and a few sprinkles here and there as well. The thing is, surface temperatures are pretty close to the freezing point for many of us, and that's why we're starting to see a little bit of freezing drizzle in spots, especially northern Bexar County and closer to New Braunfels. I haven't seen any official reports yet confirming it around northern Bexar County, but radar is indicating the likelihood of a little bit of a light glaze possible on some elevated surfaces. And we did get a report out of New Braunfels. That's where our National Weather Service office is located, and they are reporting a light glaze on some of the exposed metal right now. Street signs, street lights and stuff like that, vehicles that have been sitting outside for a few hours. The usual suspects there, even sometimes the metal guardrails get that little bit of icing. I think we can see that around 1604 between I-10 and 281 northward into Stone Oak, Timberwood Park as well. These little light sprinkles and areas of freezing drizzle and freezing sprinkles will continue to come and go through the evening and through the night, but we really don't anticipate them to be problematic. This is a very low impact event with limited moisture falling in the first place, but bridges and overpasses, especially northern Bexar County and into the hill country in particular, that's where we just need to exercise a little extra caution. TxDOT, though, they've done a great job pre-treating those bridges and overpasses. But you look at the temperatures now, above freezing, basically south side of town. Stinson 36, even Rio Medina 34, but 30 Bernie, 32 officially at the airport. Bandera at 30 degrees. We're going to talk about temperatures, how they change in the coming days when we finally warm back up, and of course a closer look at what we can expect with that frozen precipitation in just a bit.
Thank you, Adam. The hope is it will help in the fight against domestic violence in our community. Additional investigators are going to the DA's Family Justice Center. This after the Bexar County Commissioners approved a request yesterday. It's a big win for the district attorney's office, which currently has only one such investigator. Erica Hernandez spoke with the DA about how it will improve safety.
Serving protective orders is no easy task. In fact, it can be a dangerous job. It is one of the reasons why District Attorney Joan Gonzalez requested additional investigators be added at the Family Justice Center.
These are high-risk type of cases, and often these individuals have violent histories or violent themselves.
The center currently only has one investigator, and in 2021, that one person conducted more than 800 address investigations, served more than 300 protective orders, and of those protective orders served, more than 200 respondents had active warrants or firearms in their possession.
I want to ensure the safety of everyone that's involved in this process, from our employees to anybody else that happens to be present.
With the approval from Bexar County Commissioners, the Family Justice Center will now add 2 more investigators to help with the workload, which has also increased in the past couple of years. Part of that is because of the rise in domestic violence cases, and the process to apply for a protective order has gotten easier.
We have streamlined the process to where someone can actually apply online and can hear within a matter of hours.
Overall, the addition of more investigators is another step the county is taking toward fighting domestic violence.
Some may say that a protective order is just a piece of paper. It's certainly a necessary tool that we have in our tool belt to protect victims of domestic violence.
Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
Her final paycheck was more than $1 million. The KSAT defenders confirmed that former CPS Energy president and CEO Paula Gold-Williams left her post with that hefty sum. Gold-Williams resigned back in October, then officially left the utility company earlier this year. In a closer look, the defenders found more than $751,000 came in the form of a, quote, restoration payment. An attorney representing CPS Energy describes that as money from benefits from a non-qualified retirement plan that was taxable when earned. Gold-Williams also had more than $272,000 in accrued vacation pay from the past 18 years that she did not use. CPS Energy officials declined to provide her pension amount.
A San Antonio man in the Bexar County Jail just 1 week after being added to Texas 10 Most Wanted list. We first told you about this story 2 weeks ago. This is 40-year-old Ruben Castro. He was arrested in San Antonio on February 15th. He's facing an aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury charge, along with a parole violation charge. DPS officials say Castro has ties to the Texas Mexican Mafia. A Crime Stoppers tip led to his arrest.
Now to an update on a shooting that we covered as breaking news yesterday off of south of New Braunfels Avenue near Highway 90. The man shot in that incident, we've learned, has died. The Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office identifies that man as 29-year-old Robert Flores. San Antonio police say that Flores and another man were arguing, and at some point the other man allegedly shot Flores multiple times in the chest. He was taken to BAMC, where he later died. That suspect was taken into custody, but it's unclear what charges, if any, he might be facing.
An argument inside an East Side bar spilling outside, ending in one person shot. That shooting happening near Loop 410 and Rigsby Avenue. and it's now under investigation. As Katrina Weber reports, the two men involved are in very different places right now.
At a place where you'd expect shots of alcohol to flow, San Antonio police were investigating shots of a different kind. They say someone fired them in the parking lot of JD's Sports Bar, wounding a 34-year-old man several times. According to witnesses, that shooting before 12:30 this morning was the end result of an argument that started inside the bar near Loop 410 and Rigsby Avenue. Police say the two began fighting outside. Then one man pulled out a gun and shot the other, leaving him critically wounded. As he was rushed off to a hospital, officers began looking for the person who shot him, and they say they didn't have to look far. Witnesses told police that suspect ran off in that direction toward Walmart. They say they quickly found him there and then found the gun on the ground next to the victim. They took the 33-year-old suspected shooter into custody, expecting he'd provide some information and face criminal charges. Officers at the scene of the shooting did not know why the two men were arguing or how their raised voices escalated to violence. Whatever happened in and around this bar, though, has them on two different paths now, one trying to heal from his wounds and the other answering for a crime. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
San Antonio fire officials believe squatters to blame for a suspicious fire where several mattresses inside were destroyed. Fire crews called to the scene around 10 a.m. on Alta Cita. It's not far from Our Lady of the Lake University. When they arrived, flames could be seen in the back of the building. Heavy winds brought a challenge to get that fire under control, but it was put out quickly. No injuries were reported.
The city of San Antonio is still trying to fine-tune planned improvements to Brackenridge Park, included in the last bond issue 5 years ago. That's all the while knowing that it has another bond issue coming up that needs voter support. This Brackenridge Park plan was supposed to go before the Historic Design and Review Commission for a final vote this Friday, but not anymore. Jesse Degollado now with why it's believed the city changed its mind.
We got like 8 park employees chasing away one bird.
A single egret ignoring the board clapping below. The latest attempt, along with firing an air gun, hoping to scare off the egrets who'd be nesting in the trees, at least for now.
Stop the chop!
Protesters like Alicia Garlick are trying to save both.
We need trees to breathe, and wildlife needs trees to survive. I mean, I've been coming here as a kid. I hope they don't cut them down because they're beautiful.
Public pressure is believed partly why the city has temporarily backed off its proposed removal of at least 100 trees, several over a century old.
There's been large public outcry for a delay to the process and for changes.
The District 2 council member says the problem is the design hadn't been completed and there wasn't enough public input.
It was recognized that it was a little early to be making that request to remove trees. I think this is a victory. I think it's a victory.
Not quite, says the longtime founder and president of Wildlife Rescue and Rehabilitation, Lynn Cuney.
What it means is Mother Nature wins for the moment. What should happen is that we should agree from the get-go that no harm will be done to the trees or the animals.
Both say there should be ways to save or move the wall weakened by roots from the trees and deal with the bird droppings, a public health concern in a park, instead of cutting down trees and scaring off birds.
How can anybody in their right mind see that as improving a park?
Jesse Degollado, KSAT 12 News.
The city's Parks and Recreation Director and the project manager agreed to speak to us yesterday, but then canceled within a few hours of that final vote being postponed. However, City Manager Eric Walsh did say in his announcement, quote, "I have directed staff to pause consideration by the HDRC, which has dominated the conversation and distracted from the broader benefits of the restoration work while we complete the design and work with our partners and stakeholders," end quote.
It is a cancer affecting a large population in the Latino community. How a cancer research conference is aiming to let those affected know about preventative measures.
Plus, it is a want for most families, but a need that is difficult to meet for others. See who benefited today from a healthy food distribution. Coming up.
And let's take you downtown I-10 in Frio. This is usually a busy area, and it is especially busy right now because you can see what looks like a fender bender off to the right side of the screen. This is as I-10 winds into downtown. The camera at the Frio exit. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. I'm Stefania Jimenez, and tonight on the Night Beat, people are questioning a police chief's behavior. This is happening in Castroville, where the police chief there is accused of using a racial slur. It's an allegation that city council discussed late into the night, and now the mayor from that town is responding. Plus, we've spoken about homes getting more expensive. We all know that. But now there's an opportunity for first-time home buyers in San Antonio. How the San Antonio Housing Authority hopes to help more families secure their American dream. We're going to have those stories and a lot more tonight on The Night Beat.
All right, thanks, Stephanie. Let's get to some late-breaking news we have right now. Police on the scene of a shooting on the city's east side. This happened around 5 o'clock on Lanark Drive. That's near Austin Highway and Harlow Drive. Details limited right now. We are gathering more information, but we do know that one person was taken to a hospital. You can see there from our crew live there at the scene. This is a live picture, several shell casings seen on the ground in what looked like the strip center here, a vehicle with busted out windows. We're going to get that information and some more updates and keep you updated on this developing story on air and online.
Yeah, there's a barbecue restaurant right on the corner of this shopping center. That appears to be where this shooting outside where the shooting took place. All right, hundreds of families have food for the week thanks to a food distribution put on by the staff at SAISD. Today, organizers say cars lined up as early as 2 hours before the distribution at Alamo Stadium. Each family got a healthy share of meats, vegetables, and canned goods, and today they were able to feed 300 families.
Our families are very thankful, especially with weather like today that's, 40 degrees, cold. But again, we do it to service our community. And again, it's a wonderful partnership that we have with San Antonio Food Bank. And our families are very appreciative, very grateful.
The distribution first come, first serve. If you missed out, don't worry. SAISD holds distributions just like this on a monthly basis.
All right, let's talk weather now. It is frigid outside, and that wind is not helping.
No, the wind made it feel like we were down in the 20s for most of the day today. Luckily, the wind is subsiding this evening, and you're not going to really notice it as much the next several days, but temperatures are going to remain cold just like this all the way through Saturday. Let's get right to the maps. I want to go to this time lapse. This is very important. This is just within the past hour. Notice it starts at 5:25 p.m. We're overlooking the airport. That's 410 looking toward 281. So we're looking westward there, and put this into motion, and you see a little sprinkle activity, a little bit of light rain moving over that camera. The key is, and why this is so important, that was just liquid. Even on that elevated and exposed camera there, several stories up, it wasn't cold enough to freeze into ice, at least not yet. But also what is important there, that's a very light sprinkle, only a couple hundredths of an inch measured at the airport. It just shows how light this activity is, which is good. That bodes well in terms of preventing any big icing out there. And really, we're not all that concerned about much icing, just some of those typical elevated and exposed surfaces, especially those metal surfaces like street signs, lamp posts, and street lights, and some cars that have been sitting outside. Here's a look at radar now over the past 30 minutes. You see those showers quickly moving south to north. I hesitate to even call them showers. They're really just sprinkles and more of that nuisance type of moisture than anything beneficial. But confirmed report around New Braunfels of a little bit of icing on some of the elevated and exposed metal surfaces. This little sprinkle here from Timberwood Park through Bulverde up to Smithson Valley, moving toward Canyon Lake, now on the south shore of Canyon Lake, but pushing northward. This is likely to freeze on contact into a little bit of light icy glaze on some of those elevated and exposed surfaces. The roadways should be just fine with this activity. And as we go through the night, we're really not all that concerned about the surface roads. Just some of the bridges and overpasses could have a few slick spots, but even then, I think the impacts would be very isolated and limited in nature. So here's our future cast, and as we go through time here, see a little bit of pink even creeping into northern Bexar County and even the northern basically third of Bexar County. So with that, some of the light freezing drizzle and light freezing sprinkles, a little bit of a glaze on some of those elevated surfaces, but the main roadway should be just fine. And then tomorrow, that activity tapers off and it's just cloudy most of the day. So in the hill country, we're watching the bridges and overpasses, northern Bexar County and even areas nearby. Basically just a light glaze on some of those exposed surfaces, such as some tree branches and some of those signs out there. Surface roads, just damp. That's what we're anticipating. This map says it all when it comes to temperatures. All right. Right now, we're about 50 degrees colder than this time yesterday. And we actually had a 52-degree temperature difference earlier today in the afternoon. So big temperature drop, of course, with that cold front. Now we're at 32 officially at the airport. Kerrville at 30, Rock Springs 28. See where those temperatures are starting to hit freezing. Some of those exposed and elevated surfaces could start to get a little bit of a light glaze. That cold front far to the south of us now. Just a few hours ago, Brownsville was 80 degrees, now at 58. They obviously got the cold front. So tomorrow morning, I think we'll actually warm up a degree or two for the morning commute. About 34 in San Antonio, but still Canyon Lake 31, Kerrville 27, Hill Country still below freezing. Then we get into tomorrow afternoon, and we're not going to warm up a whole lot. We're looking at temperatures, I think, for not 65 downtown. We'll be closer to about 42 degrees downtown for the temperature. So temperature's not really changing a whole lot. We'll go from 32 overnight tonight to 34 at 8 a.m. to 40 degrees for the high temperature by tomorrow afternoon. And those sprinkle and rain chances really fall off quite a bit by the afternoon tomorrow. We're not going to get sunny and warmer again until Sunday. It's near 40 all the way through Saturday and cloudy, but then by Sunday, sunny and back to 60 degrees.
Okay, we're in it for the long haul. Can we call 4 days a long haul?
Yes.
It's going to feel
in South
like,
Texas.
It's going to feel like
that's a long stretch of the same weather. Yeah. All right. So we're going to talk about the Spurs. When you hear DeJounte Murray talk, he's not giving up on them making a playoff push, Larry.
None of the Spurs are giving up on it right now. I mean, they're just this close to grabbing that 10th and final spot when it comes to the play-in tournament, and that's exactly what the Spurs are chasing, perhaps even a higher seed than that with just 23 games left in the regular season. And in girls basketball, Bernie is back in the regional semifinals coming up.
I think that's both of our goals, to be able to play in the All-Star game.
Sure.
So, what you guys say to him one time?
Back on the road again, go ahead and take care of business on Friday. We're going to do what we do.
For sure. For sure, though. Y'all know what happens when KJ comes.
Keldon Johnson is the life of the Spurs practice party in Big Board Sports. Fresh off of his first NBA All-Star game, DeJounte Murray spent some time chatting with Manu Ginobili at Spurs practice this morning. Now, Manu was recently named a Basketball Hall of Fame finalist for the 2022 class. NBA All-Star break is over with for the Spurs, who are back on the practice court today, knowing they have 23 games left in the regular season to make a move. They're 2 games out of the final play-in spot. So Devin Vassell was asked, what's the plan with 23 games to go?
Make a push. I mean, I feel like we're good enough to be in the playoffs, and that's our goal. Be in a playing game and be able to get into the playoffs and, you know, make some noise. I think bringing in just recognition and, I mean, how many TV games have we had? Like, you know, that's a big deal to us. Like, you know what I'm saying? So to be able to be in the playoffs, be able to be in playing games and be able to get that publicity and just have our names out there and for people to see, like, you know, we're a talented group and we're competing every night. So playoff run for sure.
All right, the Wizards will host the Spurs Friday night at 6. Last night, the Clark boys basketball team defeated Clemens 58-45 in the Class 6A by district round. The Cougars trailed by 6 points at halftime, but outscored the Buffaloes 33-14 in the second half. Senior Jordan Mason led the way with a game-high 25 points, while Jacoby White, Edgar Sosa, and Ethan Crowley all finished with 8 points each. Clark knew it was going to be a tough battle, and they're thrilled to be moving on.
Man, it boosts our confidence. Clemens is a real tough team. We knew that coming in. And we had struggled at halftime. We came in and we just all had each other's backs. I think we just built even more trust in each other, and it's going to be big for us in the playoffs.
This matchup in the first round was an incredible matchup. It'd be like a 7-8 matchup in the NCAA or something like that. I mean, we're both really good teams, so we just feel fortunate that we were able to win.
The Cougars will next take on Round Rock Stony Point in the area round Friday, 7 p.m. at New Braunfels Canyon. We have more highlights from this game on the BGC page at KSAT.com. And the defending Class 4A regional champion Bernie girls basketball team is once again heading to the regional semifinals. The Greyhounds took down Navarro Tuesday night 57-37. Sophomore center Avery Aaron led Bernie with 24 points in the victory. The Greyhounds have not lost since January 18th and have won all 3 of their playoff games by 19 or more points. Bernie's offense is clearly firing on all cylinders.
This year, we definitely have a lot more athleticism and speed, and we have a lot more tools off and on the bench. We're much deeper than we were last year, I would say, and we have a lot more shooters, and we can run faster and move the ball a lot faster than last year. I think it's a lot more organized, and it's a lot more set. Last year was like you never knew if you were going to play another game, and it was like this could be your last, even if you win. So it was really just give your all, and it's still give your all, but now we have goals to look forward to.
Bernie will next face Devine in the regional semifinal this Friday night.
Exciting.
It is.
Playoff action.
Yep. Yep. Or die.
Thanks, Larry.
We'll be right back. Always lots to talk about within the city of San Antonio, and today, as we are most Wednesdays, we are joined by Mayor Ron Nirenberg to discuss a variety of topics. Mayor, thanks for being here with us. We want to start first with an outside audit of CPS Energy. We learned this week the utility company putting out a request for proposals for agencies outside of that company to do an audit, especially in light of what we have seen in the last year since the February freeze and all the power outages. Is there something, an area within CPS that you would like to see more closely examined in such an audit?
Sure, and I do think that this is a healthy and productive thing for a major organization to do, especially a public one, to do from now, from time to time. And certainly this was precipitated by a lot of conversations that were happening at the city council. So the CPS organization is moving forward with this audit to look at, corporate culture, corporate compensation, operations, that sort of thing, top down, get a fresh perspective of how that organization is functioning, particularly as we transition leadership. So I think that, the things that I'm going to be most interested in are efficiencies of operations. Again, this is a public utility, and we are using public resources to make sure that their electricity stays on and that we can continue to deliver services even amidst a lot of challenges. And the other thing that I'll be interested in is how we shape up with regard to compensation. We want to make sure that we have the best talent available in terms of not just leadership and managerial positions, but also the people who are in the field to be compensated well for and competitively for the things that they're doing. Remember, every time we have a winter storm, every time we have a heat wave or there's infrastructure issues or lines down, there are actual people, our neighbors out there fixing that equipment. They're doing that right now. And so we've got to make sure that we have the talent available, we have the workforce, that there's a sustainable workforce, and that there's people continue to come into the agency as well as other people retire.
In our breakdown show, we did a story with CPS Energy and kind of what they've learned from a year ago. And that was one of the things that interim CEO Rudy Garza brought up, the fact that they have openings right now. Compensation is an important part in filling some of those. He has got the interim title right now. Do you have any idea, time frame, when a permanent replacement for Paula Gold-Williams may be named?
So obviously, CPS Energy, being the largest publicly owned energy utility in the country, is a competitive position. That's an elite position for anyone in the industry. And so there will be a national search. The process is beginning right now in terms of finding a search committee or finding a search firm to help manage that process. There'll be a committee established and really a timeline for those events develop. There isn't anything to share at this point, but please know that the process is beginning. And we have extremely capable leadership with Rudy as our interim CEO. And it will be a position that is open to anyone in the nation to apply for. And we expect it to be competitive. And of course, in the meantime, we're going to be thankful for the great stewardship that Rudy is providing. As he has been for the last couple of months.
Any reaction at all to the Paula Gold-Williams final paycheck of over $1 million?
Well, again, all that is under contract, and her contract began in 2015. So any exiting CEO is going to be entitled to what they are legally under contract. So that's done per all of those rules.
Let's talk about a big visit to San Antonio today. The First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden, you were there to greet her and took part in that visit as well. Anything that really stood out to you in any conversations you had? You know, we covered how her focus was on cancer disparities, especially within the Latino community, and then also going over to JBSA Lackland. So what stood out to you?
Well, I will say this. It is significant that Dr. Biden, our First Lady, chose San Antonio as her destination to discuss and advance two of the administration's most important initiatives. One is how we collaborate with our military communities to support child care needs and the overall community collaboration that's required to ensure that military families and veteran families are able to get the support that they need to go back to the workforce. That's number one. The second one, of course, is the initiative to ensure that we are advancing research and access to health care so that we can beat cancer. Cancer is the leading cause of death, and we have incredible resources and collaboration happening within our medical community here in San Antonio, which is why there was a roundtable scheduled at the Mays Cancer Research Center. The things that our medical community is doing, in particular, in this case, UT Health San Antonio, is changing the nation. It's changing our community, and it's really changing the world in terms of how we are going to be able to fight, prevent, and treat cancer.
Quickly, before we let you go, I want to talk about the COVID numbers. I mean, today we saw less than 150 new cases, I believe, but we're still seeing perhaps more than we should for those number of cases of people hospitalized. We're at the moderate stage right now, except for when it comes to hospitalizations. How are you reading those numbers? What are you being told by the experts out there?
Well, we're cautiously optimistic, and it still remains true that the best way to fight this and to put an end to this and to defend against these increasingly contagious variants is to get vaccinated and to be up to date with your vaccination. So if you haven't been vaccinated yet, get vaccinated, get up to date, which also means your booster. Looking at the numbers, we're grateful. We are now below 10% positivity rate, which is somewhere we haven't been for a couple of months now. The hospital numbers are declining precipitously, which is also good. But let's face it, these hospitals and the medical community at large has been under severe stress for going on 3 years with the amount of volume and frankly, burnout that they've been experiencing because of COVID. So while it is good news, it's encouraging news. And I think if you have plans for the spring and the summer, you should feel confident about pursuing those. We should continue to remain vigilant and protect the people who have been working on the front lines of this for the last 2+ years. We'll say one other thing. The number I watch pretty closely is how many new admissions there are on a daily basis. That still fluctuates quite a bit. So before we are resting on our laurels, we've got to continue to work on ensuring we're doing everything we can on an individual basis to protect ourselves and our families. And on that note, San Antonians are doing quite well.
You know, you said spring and summer plans, and all I heard was fiesta. Thank you, Mr. B.
Spring and summer plans. All right. Thanks so much for being here.
We'll be right back. One in 3 Latinos will face cancer in their lifetime. It's the reason for a 3-day conference happening in downtown San Antonio to focus on limiting those cancer disparities among Latinos.
And our Sarah Acosta spoke with organizers about the importance of this very issue in San Antonio.
64% of San Antonio is Hispanic, according to the latest U.S. Census. It's why medical professionals are taking the issue of disparities in cancer in Latinos so seriously.
Latinos are the fastest growing minority group in the country, and they are slated to have an increase of around 140% in cancer cases in the upcoming years.
It's the reason behind a 3-day conference happening in downtown San Antonio that kicked off today. Its focus is to have open dialogue about new ideas for research, practice, and communication to address Latino cancer health disparities. Research shows Latinos suffer disparities in liver, stomach, and cervical cancers. Dr. Jones says this is most likely because of the lack of awareness of the importance of those health screenings.
Lack of access to primary care, lack of insurance, poverty rates are a little bit higher amongst our Latino population, and also lower lower education. So combined, that kind of sets this environment for having individuals, especially our Latino population, not getting their screenings or coming in for late-stage diagnosis just because they didn't have access to care.
Jones says figuring out the most effective ways to get Hispanics to those life-saving screenings and close that disparity gap is their main goal over the next 3 days.
During the conference, we will be talking about how do we get our Latino population back to their doctors? How do we get them to actually go get their cancer screenings?
Sarah Costa, KSAT 12 News.
All right, getting a little precipitation out there, and as you can see in the corner, it's 32 degrees.
Can you believe that? 32 degrees, and we're going to need some patience with this cold snap.
Yeah, considering yesterday we were 85 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
This afternoon we were about 33, 34. So it was a good 50-degree temperature drop that we had from this time yesterday to right now, of course. Freezing drizzle, especially north side of town and into the hill country this evening and tonight. A few passing sprinkles could leave a light glaze as well. Cold through Saturday. We're not going to warm up until Sunday, and at that point, it's still going to be below average at 60 degrees for a high temperature. But the sun should return by Sunday. Let's get the big picture and take a look what's happening right now. We've got mainly just the clouds with a little bit of sprinkle activity and, of course, some drizzle out there as well. Not a whole lot actually falling. And this radar perspective makes it look like there's a little bit more than what's actually been coming down out there. We'll take the closer look with our better technology here. And you see some of the light sprinkle activity moving south to north. This is basically ranging from a trace to just a few hundredths of an inch of liquid that's falling out of those clouds. And these are changing colors, pink to blue, because we're right on the edge of seeing some freezing drizzle, freezing sprinkles, and maybe some sleet farther north into the hill country. But overall, this is mainly just leaving some roadways damp. Damp surface roads. It's some of the elevated surfaces that we need to watch, particularly up into parts of the hill country as we go through the evening and night. And we just had a few of these little sprinkles pass through parts of northern Bexar County and even the Bulverde area. But overall, not a whole lot of activity really leaving much in its wake that we've seen any reports of actual icing. One report so far, New Braunfels, where exposed and elevated metal, which cools quickly, has had a little bit of ice. And that's what it's mostly going to be confined to. So here's our future cast. More of these little sprinkles, light misty drizzle and light sprinkles moving south to north tonight and through the early morning hours tomorrow. Some of it will freeze on contact to those elevated surfaces. That includes parts of northern San Antonio, northern Bexar County, and points northward into the hill country. Into the hill country, we're watching the overpasses and, of course, the bridges for the potential of a little bit of icing, but I know TxDOT's been out pre-treating all across our area where we could actually have some impacts. But even those impacts should be very minor in this situation. Again, mainly the street signs, lamp posts, cars if they've been sitting outside for a while, and a lot of those metal surfaces that are the first to get that light glaze. And overall, we're not looking at a lot of even moisture in general falling from the clouds and really accumulating or being anything beneficial. This is just that nuisance type of moisture. It's not even going to turn into anything helpful that would dent the drought or even help the aquifer. Right now we're at 32 degrees. Dew point at 26. Northeasterly wind has subsided a little bit. Right now it's at 15, and it's not going to be all that strong overnight tonight. This says it all, and it's not even as impressive as it was a few hours ago, but we're still between 45 and 50 degrees cooler now than this time yesterday. That puts us at 29 Kerrville, 31 New Braunfels, still above freezing, basically south of Highway 90. Pleasanton, for example, at 34, and getting farther north behind that cold front that we had moved through, and we're talking 20s through a good chunk of Texas. So tomorrow morning, I actually think for the commute, we'll be up to about 34 degrees at 7 a.m. tomorrow here in town. Below freezing, though, as you get up into the hill country. And then by tomorrow afternoon, we only warm up to about 30 degrees, but I think even to 40 degrees, but even 30s in the hill country. Canyon Lake about 37 for a high, along with New Braunfels. Timberwood Park 39 in the afternoon. Elmendorf about 42 for the high temperature. As I mentioned before, we finally warm up by Sunday when we make it to 60 degrees. At that point, you'll notice a change. But tomorrow, another cold gray day. Those sprinkles tapering off into the afternoon. And then next week, you can look forward to upper 60s and sunshine next week.
We have to get there.
Yes, we will do that. Look forward to it. Thanks, Adam.
We'll be right back.
Buckingham Palace confirming that Queen Elizabeth did have to cancel some planned engagements yesterday because she's still experiencing mild cold-like symptoms after testing positive for COVID-19. But the palace stressing that she is well enough to continue light duties, including paperwork and, of course, still reviewing those famous red boxes full of official papers. As of right now, the Queen is still planning to host an event the first week of March.
With COVID cases, deaths, and hospital admissions potentially falling in the weeks to come, the CDC expected to update its mask guidelines any day now. Chicago dropping its mask and vaccine requirement at the end of the month. The vaccination drive also bottoming out. In Alabama, more than 50% of the state is fully vaccinated, trailing most of the nation in those shots. We'll be right back.
We are just a few minutes away from the breakdown with Steph and Steve. They join us live in the newsroom, guys.
All right, well, we're excited, right? It's go time. We've been talking about early voting, things like that. And now that we're a week away from the primaries, we're going to break down all these races.
Yeah, absolutely. We're also going to talk about the importance of the so-called Latino vote and the youth vote.
Yes.
Will those show up in these midterms? Those stories and, of course, predictions for what's going to happen next Tuesday coming up next online on The Breakdown with Steph and Steve. Hope you join us then.